Can you actually learn a language in 30 days without moving abroad, without classes, and just living your normal life? Well, that's what I have to do, because in exactly 30 days, today's April 24th, I will be meeting my boyfriend's mom, who is German. And I am not German. I know how to say hallo. Eins, ein, zwei. Anyways, and I'm a language teacher. I know how to speak French, English, Spanish fluently since I was a baby.
Esta es la maestra. This is the show. Pas forcément, non, mais presque.
And the question I get asked the most is, how long does it actually take to learn a language? I guess we'll figure it out together if it's possible. I think I can do it. The first few days, total chaos. I was in the middle of exams, so my brain was fried, and I wasn't super focused on German, but I did start with music. I'd listen to the same few songs over and over, just to kind of get used to the sounds, and I was singing along, not with the words, but with the rhythm. It was something. And a lot of Duolingo. I mean, the Green Owl and I became very close. It was my go-to during study breaks, during the metro, and let's be honest, it was more like playing a game than actually speaking the language, but, I mean, still something. I'm on chapter 1, unit 5. Ignore the streaks, that's when I was doing Arabic. At least 2 to 3 lessons minimum per day, not one. It's helped me a lot to learn words, so I can't form sentences just yet. I'll have to make it work, so we'll see where it goes, but until then, it's gonna be getting this diploma. Once exams were over, I finally had time to actually focus, and I got this German study book. It was honestly such a big difference. It had real phrases, common expressions, not just random vocab. And that's when I really started understanding how sentences were built, how verbs worked, and just kind of how to say things. It helped everything click, and I was actually starting to form thoughts. Then I started writing. I'd take the sentences I liked the most and write them down over and over, and Google Translate and I, literally best friends. I was translating everything and writing it down to try and remember. But soon I kind of got tired and a little overwhelmed. I couldn't tell the difference between half the things I was learning anymore, and it just started all blending together. So I took a break and turned to TikTok, and honestly, it was the reset I needed. Watching creators speak naturally made the language feel kind of real again. It didn't feel like studying, it just started entering my brain without effort. I was picking up slang, tone, pronunciation, things no textbook could really teach you, and suddenly I was repeating my phrases out loud without even meaning to. It was my subconscious, really. Then I bought a book in German. At first, I didn't understand a single thing. It was just letters and a random word here and there. But I kept going. I translated full sentences just to get the context, then I'd reread the same page, and suddenly it made more sense. It started to feel like a puzzle I could actually solve. And once I noticed how similar some words were to English, something just clicked. I wasn't fluent, but I was understanding. What helped me the most? Definitely watching series and YouTube videos in German with German subtitles on. I'd keep Google Translate close and open and pause constantly to catch the words I liked or that I thought were important. And it wasn't passive, I was totally engaged. I really liked this, and every time I recognized a word without translating, it felt like a mini victory. But my brain had soaked up enough input, and I definitely needed to start talking soon, or I'd probably give up.
Was ist das?
So I started speaking out loud, repeating podcast lines, recording myself saying sentences I had previously written down. It's called shadowing, it's a real technique, and it seriously builds confidence, although my neighbors probably thought I went crazy. I was genuinely determined, and I think that that's what made such a big difference, because I remembered why I was doing this. I was learning German to meet my boyfriend's mom, and I couldn't have done it without him. I was asking questions every single day, like, how do you say this? How do you say that? He'd explain what sounded natural and correct my pronunciation. He never made me feel silly for trying, and his support made all the difference. It was a real-life tutor that I really needed. Eventually, Duolingo got boring, and a lot of stuff wasn't even useful, so I tried to make it real. What I did was I'd walk around my house naming things in German, proud that I actually knew stuff, words from real life, that I would actually use in conversation, not just random vocabulary lists here and there. I'd watch those German learning movies and actually understood without translating. I was watching them literally every day. I reread the same book from the start, and this time I got it and I enjoyed it. And in a second, the weekend came. I could actually understand most of the conversations around me, which felt surreal, but I didn't talk too much. I was still kind of nervous, and as it turns out, his mom spoke really good French, so I didn't have the pressure to push myself in German. But that made it even better, because what once felt scary became something amazing, because I realized I could do it.
Deutsch ist eine komplizierte Sprache, aber das Gehirn ist in der Lage, komplizierte Dinge zu tun. Zum Beispiel eine neue Sprache in einem Monat lernen. Ich spreche ein bisschen und nicht so gut, aber ich tue mein Bestes. Ein paar Worte sind in der falschen Stelle. Ich verstehe viel mehr, als ich sagen kann. Meine Aussprache ist wohl ziemlich gut, das ist cool. Ich bin stolz auf mein Niveau, ehrlich. Ich weiß, mit der Zeit werde ich besser, Schritt für Schritt. Oh, eine Eselsbrücke, die gut funktioniert hat. Oh mein Gott.
Languages are more than words. They're bridges between worlds. Every language we learn is a new lens, a new rhythm for our voice, a new story we get to tell and understand. Our brains are built for this, to connect, to grow, to reach across silence. So if you've ever dreamed of speaking another's language, just start. Not for perfection, but for connection. For curiosity. For the magic of understanding someone else, and maybe a little more of yourself too.